Hello guys, this is Sanjay Shenoy from Team Digital Deepak and welcome to this brand new course and brand new video. I'll be going over a few of the videos in terms of social media marketing strategies and all the things related to social media. And in this first video, what we'll be trying to understand here is how you can tie your business goals to your social media marketing goals. I think this is a very crucial aspect of social media marketing because I see that a lot of people think that any kind of digital marketing is the magic bullet and it is going to solve all your problems. And this is not quite true, because unless and until you have a sound business proposition, a business plan, business goals, there is nothing you can do in terms of digital marketing or social media marketing for that matter. So the second step for that would be how you align your business goals with your social media goals. You cannot operate social media independently of your business goals. It has to go hand in hand and it has to impact your business goals at the end of the day. No amount of likes, no amount of engagement on your social media handles is going to help unless and until it is going to help your business goals. So let's try to understand how you can tie business goals with your social media goals. Here is what you'll be learning in this video. The most important thing you'll be learning is what are the business goals that you might want to consider. Not that you would like to know all the business goals that your business might require, but these are some of the things that you might want to consider, and these are some of the goals in which social media marketing can definitely help you out in. Once you have decided what are the goals you're going after, we'll learn how you can align your social media marketing goals with your business goals. And once that is done, how do you align all your activities with your social media goals? And also how to align all these activities with resources and budget at your disposal. At the end of it, we'll also be going through the 4 important metrics in social media marketing you should be considering. Of course, in the future lessons, you'll be going through a lot more KPIs, but I feel that these are the 4 most important metrics in social media marketing that you should be considering before you set out to perform any kind of social media marketing. So let's find out one by one how to do all of these things. Before we proceed, let's see what are the business goals that you might want to consider for your own business, for the company that you're working for, or for your client. First thing is to increase brand awareness, and social media can be a great platform to achieve this goal considering the reach that you have compared to any other kind of medium. So to increase brand awareness, social media will be a great avenue for you or your client for that matter. Also, if you do it well, you can increase traffic to your website by sharing your offering on social media platforms and by offering very engaging content on social media platforms, thereby diverting all the traffic from these social media channels to your website, where they will either be transacting or engaging with your product or your offering. Also, social media can be a great platform to generate leads. So a lead can be anyone who's interested in your product, offering, or service. So this can be done in multiple ways. You can do it organically by sending people to your website. You can run lead ads on Facebook, or you can use your social media channels itself to capture all these leads. So there are multiple ways to do this, but again, a great platform to go after to generate leads. Once you have generated leads, obviously you will be following up with them and hopefully trying to convert them into sales. So again, social media can be very helpful in increasing your sales and your revenue numbers. If brand engagement is all you're looking for on social media, this can also be achieved. And before I proceed into any other goals, all these goals can go hand in hand with each other. They need not be tackled independently. What I mean to say is you can always use social media to increase traffic and also to generate leads and also to increase your sales and revenue and also to increase your brand engagement. Neither of these things to be approached independently, all of these can go hand in hand. So again, increase brand engagement just to like keep the brand on top of their minds. A lot of brands might not be able to drive traffic to their website, or it might not make sense for them to drive traffic to their website or generate leads for that matter, or increase sales and revenue. A lot of FMCG products like your chocolates, your toothpaste and all of that, a lot of these things use social media for increasing brand awareness and increasing brand engagement. Of course, they would not want to generate leads for someone who is buying toothpaste, right? Or because that is not where the transaction is happening. But if they involve themselves in brand awareness, if they involve themselves in brand engagement, when the actual purchase is happening, probably in a retail shop, the brand recall is increased automatically, which will indirectly influence their sales and revenue. So that is how a lot of people will also be using social media platforms for. This is probably my most favorite, is to build a community. A lot of big brands have done this, and they've done this extremely successfully. And I think the best testimony for building a great community and being successful with that is the Learn Digital Marketing group itself. So as of now, while I'm making this video, there are north of 70,000 people in that group, and because of that group, we have built that community of very eager digital marketing enthusiasts and a lot of experts also. So building a community kind of builds a wall around them, which will be very difficult for other people to penetrate. Now, when I say community, it need not necessarily be a Facebook group itself. Social media can be used just as a platform to engage this community and speak about your logistics, and this community can be built offline also, because I see a lot of rider groups in terms of Royal Enfield or Harley Davidson do this extremely well. And don't forget about WhatsApp when I say building a community, because again, this can be like a great tool for building communities and keeping in touch with your enthusiasts, with your brand advocates, or just your brand lovers for that matter. All these activities can be also used to improve your PR. Now, when I say improve your PR, it can be digital PR or your regular conventional PR. So when you see, I think the best example for something like this would be Red Bull. Red Bull does this so well. I think no other brand can come anywhere close to what Red Bull does. So it creates engaging content online, and the kind of content, the kind of activities that they do results in so much PR that the whole world is watching them. You might have seen it when they tried to jump off the stratosphere, and it was sponsored by Red Bull, and the whole world was trying to watch that whole thing. That is the kind of thing that I'm talking about. It need not be of that scale. It can be of a much smaller scale also, but it'll definitely help in your PR if you pull the right strings. And again, when I mean PR, it need not be you getting mentioned in the newspaper or the magazine. It can be you getting mentioned in a certain online magazine or an online website also. I have seen people being mentioned or being asked for their opinion just because of their Quora profile. So all of these things can happen through social media. Again, I would like to reiterate that all of these things can be your goals. It need not be you need not have to pick only one of these. It can be all of this, or you can choose to go one by one and tackle each of these problems one by one also, depending on how your brand, how your company, how your client is positioned in the market. Will it make sense just to drive brand awareness? Will it make sense to generate leads using social media marketing? Will it make sense to build a community around that? All of these things is a call that you need to take. And this is where aligning your goals with your social media activities or social media goals come into the picture. And let's find out all the things that you can do and what exactly I mean by aligning your social media goals with your business goals. Also, you can monitor your brand, your competitors, and your customers. This goes without saying, and a lot of people use social media purely for customer service and for customer interaction. It can also help you see what your competitors are doing and what is helping them grow, what is working for them, what is not working for them, so that you can take inspiration from them, not necessarily copy from them, and put your own twist to it and create a fantastic campaign out of it. And customers tend to thrive and live on these social media channels, and they love to interact with brands, especially when something goes wrong. So it's a good idea to monitor your brand, to monitor your customers, to see what they're saying about your brand, if they're happy, not happy. And the way you approach this will make a lot of difference, because there are other potential customers watching you, the way you handle these customers, not only the customers who have grievances. So it's very important that you see how you can handle these customers really well. So let's find out how you can align all your social media goals with your business goals. Okay, let's see how we can align your social media goals with your business goals. So now, as you can see here, I have taken 3 possible scenarios which I'll use to explain how you can align your social media goals with your business goal. One scenario is when you have a new product or you are trying to enter a new market with that existing product. The other scenario is you have an existing product but you're adding a new feature to that product or that offering or your service. The other scenario is basically customer survey. Now, if these were business goals, I think for the first scenario, it would be to generate as many sales as possible for your new product or from your new market. If it is a new feature in your product, it's again to generate more leads and more sales, and of course, increase retention of your existing clients or your customers. The third scenario would be to understand what are the grievances faced by your problems, if they are facing any problems, if you can solve those problems right away, and also how you can use their feedback to make your product, your offering, or your service much better. I think if you look at it very broadly, this pretty much encapsulates all these scenarios that you might face while you'll be using social media marketing as such. So let's go one by one and try to understand how you can align your social media goals. So now consider the fact that you have to launch a new product or you're launching a product into a new market. What are the social media goals that you would want to create which will align with this particular business goal? Of course, when I say business goal here, the business goal is to get as many sales as possible, and how you can assist this with your social media activities. I think 2 important things that you can do here off the top of my mind is, number 1, create content to attract traffic to your top of the funnel and position yourself either as a thought leader or as an industry leader. So when you do this, people are going to find your content, and the kind of brand positioning that you're going to have is definitely going to assist in your sales and in your revenues, either directly through your content, or if the purchase or the transaction is happening offline, then of course people are going to remember you for all the information and knowledge that you have spread through your content. The other thing that you can do is you can reach out to influencers, build relationships with them, and ask them to promote your product to your specific market. So this can be especially done really well in terms of tech products. It can be done really well for fashion products. It can be done really well for automobiles, because there are a lot of influencers in this particular segment. Of course, there are smaller segments also out there with their own set of influencers. If you can definitely dig deep into this, you can find a lot of influencers in your industry itself. We'll be talking more about influencer marketing in the later videos, but for now, these are basically the 2 things that you can do in terms of social media marketing. Of course, you can go ahead straight up, start a ad campaign saying that this is the new product that we have launched, check it out, blah blah blah. You can definitely do that, but is that enough? Sometimes it might be, sometimes it might not be, because your customers might require multiple touch points before they make a decision, and if it is coming through your content, it kind of reinforces that brand and thought leadership. And especially if it is coming from third party sources, then it definitely reinforces your brand, because it is indirectly or rather directly creating that social proof that somebody out there is endorsing your product. So definitely you can run a campaign straight up and say that, this is what we are doing, this is the new product, check it out, go ahead and buy it. But a lot of people make this mistake thinking that just because a person sees a product, he should turn into a customer. This is definitely a wrong approach. Customers will require multiple touch points, multiple convincings to do before they actually become customers. So these are some of the examples that you can do, and we'll further see how you can break these things into more elaborate and more specific social media tasks. So that's what you would do if you have a new product or you're entering into a new market. Now, what if you have a new feature for a product or your offering for that matter? So what you would do is you would run social media campaigns just to engage customers and build curiosity around new features. No prizes for guessing here. I think a lot of mobile phone companies do this, especially OnePlus. Whenever they announce a new phone, they have this massive campaigns running up to the point where they have this flash sale. So they basically talk about all the new features that the new phone is going to have and why that particular feature is so awesome, and they'll get other people to review it, they'll share it on their wall, and they'll run a lot of engaging campaigns wherein the potential customers are engaging with the content that OnePlus is putting out there. Also, creating brand awareness campaigns helps. Basically, just set up a campaign, say that you want to reach as many new people as possible, and the more the people who see your brand, the more people try to engage with your brand. I would go with the first one rather with this just the brand awareness, or preferably both, because like I said, the more touch points your customers have, the more convincing you're doing for your customers, and the more likely they are to convert into paying customers. So this is something that you can do if you have a new feature in your product or your offering. Also, if you want to use social media primarily as a customer survey or a customer feedback tool, then you can definitely ask people to tweet at you or leave a review on your Facebook page, leave a review on your Google local listings. All of this adds, it creates social proof for your other potential customers. Also, if you have a product, if you are a service company, social media can be a great tool to understand what your customers actually need and build things around it. And if you've already built it, how can you tweak it? How can you make it more efficient? How can you streamline the whole process so that it will not only help you as an organization, but it will also help your customers? So these are, broadly speaking, the places where you can use how this is just to explain how you can align your social media goals with your business goals. So let's proceed further and understand how. I'll take one of the examples here and I'll show you how I've broken these social media goals into very specific tasks. So let's take an example of one of the scenarios that we spoke about and one of these social media goals from it, and how we can break it down into specific social media activities. So here in this case, I am taking the scenario wherein you might want to launch a new product or you're entering a new market. And for that, one of the suggested things would be to create content to attract traffic to the top of the funnel and position yourself as an industry leader or as a thought leader. Now, how can you go about doing that? How do you actually execute it? One of the few things that you might want to do is create about 10 blog posts about the product or about the industry. And the next thing what you would want to do is post it on Facebook and post it to a specific audience, which is most likely your target audience, who most likely will be your customers. And also, if it's more leaning towards more B2B, you might want to check out LinkedIn groups and post it in specific LinkedIn groups. And also, once you've written the blogs, take an excerpt of the blog and you can post it on Quora and drop links also back to the blog if within Quora. So this is how you break down each of these goal into specific activities. Again, I'm not telling you that these are the only activities that you can do for this. There are much more activities that you can do. You can create infographics, you can do interviews with other thought leaders in your industry, you can interview yourself, you can do a Q&A session with your community. There are so many ways content can be created and to attract people into the top of the funnel, and slowly you can nurture them throughout the funnel and convert them into customers as they go by. So if you want me to give a brief of how you can attract, I will give an example of how we were doing this with one of the startups that we were working for. So this startup called Thrilophilia, we were into adventure and outdoor activities. What we used to do was to create content around adventure and outdoor activities. It was very informational, so people used to find this content across social media, across search engines, and used to enter the content. They used to read about the content. There we used to promote our other products. So they used that the content itself used to be the magnet with the top of the funnel. Once they enter the top of the funnel, people used to go to the actual transactional part of the website wherein we are selling the actual activities, and thereby moving on to the middle of the funnel. And some people might call us or leave us a lead for us to call them back, or just go ahead and transact and become customers. So this is how an ideal funnel would look like, and how content is usually on top of the funnel, wherein you're using content to attract people into the whole funnel, and then you nurture them and convert them into your customers. So this is all of this what I'm talking about are just examples, just to give you an idea of how to work backwards in terms of understanding your business goals, aligning them with your social media goals, and then aligning these activities with your social media goals. So now once you've done this, you have an idea as to what are the things that you might want to do. It might be all the things that I've mentioned here. It might be more than this, but how do you decide whether you can actually go about doing all of these activities? Do you have enough budget? Do you have enough resources at your disposal? So let's find out how to align your activities with your resources and your budget. So now that you have broken down your business goals into social media goals, and then further broken down them into specific activities, now it is for you to decide whether to go ahead with these activities, or should you drop some of the activities, and which is the best activity that you need to pursue, keeping in mind your both short-term and long-term goals. I think the first thing that you need to do before we proceed any further is to assess the resources and the budget that you have. In terms of budget, if it's your own company, then you can think about the budget that you're willing to spend. If it's a startup that you're working for, get a clear cut in terms of what is the kind of budget you have the freedom to work with. The same works with your client. And also assess the resources that you have at your disposal. If it is how many content writers do you have, how many social media managers do you have, or if you are the social media manager yourself, do you need help of content writers, do you need help of graphic designers, or what other kind of help would you be requiring to get all the activities that is being spoken of to be done. So have a clear assessment of all of this first, and the next step is to identify the best resource. You can have them either in-house or you can have them outsourced. So identifying the best resource to work with is very important, because it is going to save you a lot of time in terms of executing the work itself. So whatever the best resource that you have at your disposal, take them into account, see what is the kind of bandwidth that they have and how much work can they actually do. This can be your content writers again, it can be your community managers, it can be your graphic designers, it can be your intern for that matter. Whatever be the case, assess the resources, try to understand what is the kind of bandwidth that they have, try to understand the quality of work that can be done from them, and after taking into account all of this, allocate a budget by choosing the best activities in terms of the ROI. So there might be certain activities that might give you immediate results in terms of either leads, your brand awareness, your sales, or whatever for that matter. If you're running a campaign, if you boost the post a little bit, if you're running an ad campaign, it might all give you immediate results. But of course, that would require you to have a higher budget. There are certain things that might give you results on a more long-term perspective. It can be creating content on your blog and using social media to promote it, or creating content on social media itself. It can be videos, it can be infographics, it can be quizzes, it can be whatever kind of content. But try to assess the kind of results that you'll be getting from all of these things. Certain activities have very short-term impact, certain activities have a long-term impact, and when it has a short-term impact, it usually costs you a lot more money than the ones that have a long-term impact. So considering the budget that you have, balance it between the short term and the long term, because you might not want to wait for a very long time, or your client might not be very happy to wait for a very long time until they start seeing results. So you might want to allocate your resources and your budget for the long term activities as well as for the short term activities, so it is a lot more balanced out in terms of return on investment. So after a period of time, say probably 6 months, 9 months, the long term activities that you have done in the past will start kicking in and will start showing results. So at that point of time, you might probably want to reduce your spend itself and keep focusing more on creating more content and more engagement using your social media activities. And always track your progress, and this is very important. You can either do it with the inbuilt analytics that some social media platforms provide you with, you can do it with Google Analytics, or I have 4 very important metrics that you can keep an eye out for, and that should pretty much give you a fair idea in terms of how your social media marketing activity is taking shape and how it is performing. So let's find out what these 4 key metrics are and how you can use them to keep track of your progress. So let's talk about the 4 most important metrics that you can use to track progress for your social media marketing. Again, like I mentioned, in the future videos, you'll be seeing that we'll be talking about a lot more metrics and KPIs that you can be using to measure your social media marketing. But strictly speaking, in sense of how your social media marketing activities are performing, I think these 4 metrics are very, very important, and it tells a lot about the kind of content that you're sharing, and it also tells a lot about how your audience is reacting to the kind of audience that you're sharing. So let's go one by one in terms of what are the kind of metrics that you should be looking after. So the first one is the applause rate. It is basically the number of likes divided by the number of posts that you have. This can be used in pretty much every social media platform. Every social media platform has its own version of like. It can be Facebook, it can be Instagram, it can be LinkedIn, it can be Pinterest, it can be Twitter, whatever the case be. So they have their own version of like. So how many posts are you posting on each of these social media channels, and how many likes are you getting is what you should be looking for. So let's take the example of Facebook. So if you're posting 10 posts and you've got a total of 20 likes across these 10 posts, so that means that your applause rate is 2. So on an average, you're getting 2 likes per post for your kind of content that you're posting. So why is this particular metric important? To put it very simply, it tells you what is the kind of content that your audience likes, and what is the kind of content that your audience does not like. So it is very simple. So this is like a fair, very simple acid test in terms of the content that you're trying to produce, and the basic acid test in terms of what is the kind of content that you should be producing for your audience. And This is basically the first step in becoming a better content producer itself, because once you start off producing content, you'll see that not every kind of content that you put out there is reverberating with your audience, and they are definitely not liking or engaging with your content. This happens. There might be cases where you think this particular piece of content will do great, but it'll be a huge flop. So for you to understand what your audience like and what your audience do not like, so this is a great metric to go after. The next metric is the conversation rate, not a conversion rate. This is the conversation rate, which is basically the number of comments divided by the number of posts that you have. Again, why is this so important? It gives you so much idea about your audience, and the kind of information that you'll get about your audience is parallel to nothing. This is marketing money just can't buy. And the more people engage with your content, the more you understand your audience, and the more engagement that is there, it creates more social proof for other people to jump in and opinion. So which is why I always tell that sometimes, just sometimes, it's a very thin line, it's a gray area. Controversies are very nice. So if you put something which is on the fence, which people might have an opinion about, it is great, because people love to have their opinion and they would love to share their opinion among other people. And when this happens, there will be other people with different opinions. They just jump in and start talking about all of these things. So if this is a blog, it is great user generated content for you. If it is a social media profile, it is just great social proof for you, for other people to jump in and join in the conversation. So conversation rate kind of forces you to do the right things, kind of forces you to get a lot more creative, and this is very helpful in understanding the kind of audience that you have as of now. This is my most favorite metric in terms of social media marketing. So this basically tells you, this is basically the number of shares divided by the number of posts, and this is a very difficult metric to crack, to be very honest. And all of these metrics, to be very honest, it should at least be 1. If it is anything below 1, then it means that you're doing something terribly wrong. Anything above 1 is great, but the higher the number, the better it is. So amplification rate, what it does is, you need to understand that every medium has a limitation of its own. So for example, Google search ads, it has a limitation where you can reach only to the number of people who are actually looking for that particular product. So radio ads, you can reach only to a certain amount of people who are listening to that particular radio. But social media or social channels, for that matter, do not have this disadvantage, do not have this obstacle as such. So what happens is, if your followers share your content, it means that they are sharing it with their network. So if you have 10,000 followers and each of them have at least 100 friends with them, that means that your potential reach is just not 10,000, it is actually about 10 lakhs. So that is the kind of reach you're talking about if your content is really, really good. And what this will also show is that the amount of value that you're bringing into your users newsfeed, or in their lives for that matter, it shows the kind of value. It is a direct attribution of the value that you're bringing to the table in terms of content. The more valuable the content is, the more likely are people to share it with their network. And believe me when I say this, people treat their news feeds or whatever feeds that they have very, very sacredly, and they would not want to mess it up with posting content which is not nice or which gives away a very negative annotation about themselves. So they are extremely careful about what they share, and if you break that barrier and get them to share your content, that itself means a lot of things. So your reach is potentially endless, your reach is potentially unlimited. So aim for this particular metric, try to get as many people sharing your content as much as possible. And again, going back to the first metric, it kind of tells you the kind of content that you should be writing, the kind of content that you should be promoting. And all of this, the kind of reach you'll get because of creating valuable content, again, this is something that money can't buy. No matter, even if you want to reach that many people, I mean, it can buy, but it won't resonate with your audience as well as it would if you produce good content. And of course, the best part is your network's network will become your network. Eventually they'll become your first level of network, and in the future when you post more content, they will share it with their network, and their network will become your network, and it will slowly start growing so massively that you might not have even spent a lot of money on it. So which is why of all the metrics, this is my favorite metric. Just keep an eye on it. It is basically the number of shares or whatever the equivalent is on your particular network divided by the number of posts that you have. And the last one is the click-through rate, or the number of clicks divided by the number of views. Again, this is basically shown by most of your social media analytics itself, or if you're putting it across to your blog post, you can get it from either Google Analytics or your social media analytics tool itself. Also, a very nice metric to have, basically to tell you, this basically tells you how you're presenting your content and how it is creating a connect with your audience. That is the first impression that you have. What is the kind of Facebook image you're using for your content? What is the kind of title you're using for your content? All of these things. Click-through rate gives you basically an idea of how you're presenting your content, whether or not it is resonating with your audience. So these are the main 4 metrics that I personally use in terms of social media marketing, and it gives a very clear idea in terms of understanding whether social media is working at all or not. So this is pretty much it. We'll be talking about more about other metrics also in the future videos. So let's see what are the next steps for us now. So the next steps would be to create buyer personas and choosing the best channel based on these personas. I'll be going in depth in terms of how you create buyer personas to understand your audience so well that your product sells by itself. And of course, choosing the best form of content based on the channels and the personas, and doing a little bit of competitor analysis, and of course building a content plan around all of these information that you have gathered. So that's pretty much it for this video, and let me know what you think of this particular video. If you have any feedback, you can post it in the comment section, or you can send me an email to sanjay@digitaldeepak.com. I'll be seeing you in the next one. Thank you very much for watching this.